Hi guys, how you doing? I just wanted to speak to everybody today about an article that was in CNN this July 2020, and in it Maria Ressa was responding following her recent conviction for cyber libel, and in fact she was claiming that there was insults directed towards her on Facebook, there were death threats, and there were derogatory comments on Facebook. And in fact, she was claiming to Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO and founder of Facebook, that Facebook was being used against her or targeted against her. You know, this is the thing. You know, I listened to Maria Ressa in her interview in Stephen Secor, where she was talking about freedom of speech, she was talking about democracy and all of these things. And she's apparently standing up for freedom of speech. She's apparently claiming that her freedom of speech is somehow being subdued, or that these libel cases are a way of silencing her, or whatsoever. But it's very, very clear to me. On the one hand, Rappler, Vera Files, Maria Ressa are supposed to be the Facebook fact checkers, i.e. they are supposed to be employed by Facebook to check facts or to check news. And on the one hand, in July 2020, she was having a go at Mark, she was having a go at Facebook, she was making all these accusations about trolls and everything else, and that the Duterte administration employing a troll army. You know, the fact is that I'm a big supporter of President Duterte. I'm a big supporter of the Philippines. I'm also a massive user of Facebook. In fact, I'm on Facebook much of the time. But what I would say is this: when I make a comment on Facebook, I'm making a comment of my own personal opinion. This is my own freedom of speech. I'm not being paid by anybody. I've never been paid by anybody. I'm not a troll. I'm not employed by President Duterte. I'm not employed by the Duterte administration. The way I see it is this: if I look at a news report or watch something on YouTube or watch something on the news about the Philippines and it's negative, it makes me upset, it makes me angry, and I want to comment. So there have been times, like on this occasion, that I want to go back and I want to comment on something Maria Ressa said in July 2020. So in some ways she was having a go at Facebook. Now I think Facebook is a fantastic tool. I think it's really beneficial to the Filipino people. I think it helps them in times of calamities, pandemics, for fundraising, and also for supporting the Philippines, promoting the country. You know, it helps OFWs to connect with back home. It helps OFWs to be aware of important occasions, to see family photos. You know, Facebook is a really useful tool. But here's the thing, you know, when some people are on Facebook, they will swear, they will get angry, they will make threats. They're so-called keyboard warriors. It doesn't mean they're actually going to carry out those threats. When some people are angry, they sometimes say things they don't mean. And that what she was saying to Facebook and what she was saying to Mark was that needs to be somehow moderated, and it's some kind of tool to make threats against her. Nothing can be further from the truth. As far as I'm concerned, Facebook is a platform where people can express their own opinion, as long as they don't use insulting words, as long as they don't make any death threats. They should be able to go ahead and say what they want on Facebook. However, I don't believe freedom of speech is absolute. I don't believe people could say anything they want to say. I don't think they can talk about certain subjects. You know, there are the Facebook community guidelines, which means that people do need to be reasonable, and people do need to be careful when they're on Facebook, because what they don't want to do is cause somebody to get harmed, etc. So Facebook has these community guidelines. On the other hand, I really don't know who Maria Ressa is. On the one hand, Maria Ressa is talking about freedom of speech, she's talking about democracy, about the right to be heard, she's a journalist, apparently. And on the other hand, she's complaining to Facebook because Filipinos who are upset, Filipinos who are angry, Filipinos who are angry at her criticism of the Duterte administration have gone on Facebook and have made comments towards her, have sworn on her page or on the page of Rappler. As much as I don't agree with certain things happening, as much as I don't agree with people being racist, I don't agree with people making death threats or talking about suicide or whatever. These are all covered under the community guidelines. What I would say is this: 1 minute Maria Ressa claims that she is the great defender of freedom of speech and the great defender of democracy, and she somehow believes that these things aren't happening in the Duterte administration. And then she goes ahead and she has a go at Mark, who of course is the founder of Facebook, and then she wants to be one of the fact checkers, or at least Rappler want to be one of the fact checkers. None of this makes any sense to me whatsoever. I'm glad that we have Facebook. I'm glad that we have freedom of speech. And the thing is, she talks about all these trolls and troll farms, etc. I'm a classic example. I'm not a troll at all. I have not been paid 1 penny, not 1 centavo since President Duterte came to office. I've never been asked to make any comments. I've never been asked to write any letters. I've never been asked to be critical of anybody. I do this because I have a genuine belief that the Philippines has improved under President Duterte and the lives of the Filipino people have got better. I've met President Duterte in December 2017. I consider him to be a father figure. He's a very nice, honourable man, and I have that personal connection with him. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to comment on Facebook and I'm going to exercise my right to freedom of speech, and nobody should be quashing that. Nobody should be saying that that needs to be somehow stopped. I don't understand where Maria Ressa's coming from, because 1 minute, as I said, she allows freedom of speech, and the next minute, if somebody does be critical of her on Facebook, or if somebody is getting angry with her or swearing, she calls them a troll, or she says there's some kind of tool of the administration. Nothing can be further from the truth. There are many OFWs who support President Duterte. 92% of all Filipinos give him a highly satisfactory or a satisfactory rating. And these include 10 million OFWs abroad. Many of those 10 million OFWs are also on social media. Many of those 10 million OFWs are also on Facebook. And when they see Maria Ressa on Facebook, when they see her being critical of the father of the Philippines, of course they're going to get angry. Of course they're going to get upset. And nobody can blame them. So she has it one way or she has it the other way. Either she supports Facebook and she's employed by Facebook in the capacity of Rappler to be the fact checker, or I don't know if she's employed or what arrangement she has with Facebook, and the next minute she's criticizing Facebook. Admittedly, this was an article that came out in July 2020 and my attention has just been drawn to it. But I do feel that I have a right to speak. I do feel that I have a right to defend Facebook, because for me, Facebook are doing a fantastic job. They are providing hope. They are helping the Filipino people. They are allowing their platform to be used for the benefit of the Philippines. There are no trolls. There are no troll armies. This is all the fake news of the opposition. Yes, I agree, there will be some people who try and make money out of Facebook. And yes, I agree, there probably are some people who are having multiple accounts, etc. And Facebook is able to kind of deal with that through their machinery, through their bots, etc. And I accept that. But I just don't like the fact that Maria Ressa was somehow kind of acting all like she's kind of innocent in some way, or some kind of pity in that, oh my God, people are having a go at me, and people are saying bad things towards me. You know, as I said, none of these death threats are real. You know, the situation is that when people get angry, sometimes some Filipinos can get hot-headed. And when they get hot-headed, they say stuff. It doesn't mean they're going to do it. You know, I get trolled all the time. I get comments towards me and my family all the time. This is one of the things you have to accept when you're in the public eye. This is one of the things you have to accept when you're on social media, and when you have such strong views like Maria Ressa has, like Rappler has, against the president, against the Duterte administration, saying there's no democracy, then you have to accept the fact that people are going to be upset. You have to accept the fact that people are going to be angry, they're going to be swearing, they're going to be hot-headed. And do you ban that? No. Does Facebook ban every single person who makes a negative comment? No. So I think there's a balance to be had here. Anyway, guys, thanks very much for watching. This is now my new YouTube channel. I really do hope that you can support me in this endeavor of bringing the truth, sharing the real news, sharing the real reaction, and basically supporting the president and supporting the Philippines. Thanks so much.